Let's get into it. Soul Not For Sale podcast. This is episode 602 of the Soul Not For Sale podcast. We got Tucker Carlson spitting nothing but facts, zero lies, and mistakenly or unintentionally has uncovered two governors who have some deep World Economic Forum ties. Very, very interesting episode. I did not think I would be talking about the World Economic Forum within these two clips, but I went down a little rabbit hole and I discovered some stuff. I'm going to bring that to you. We're going to have two Tucker Carlson clips. The first one I'm giving you, he's talking about how to tell whether or not your government cares about what you care about or whether or not they are hearing you properly. And it's a very, very, very good way of looking at it. And then the other clip, he talks about two governors and he touches on something else that I have just recently spoke about, which was immigration and, people coming in by the tens of thousands and what that could mean for the citizens. And from there is where I got the World Economic Forum connections. We're going to get right into it. I know right now you're just like, how does all that connect? Don't worry. We're here. You're here now. We're going to make it all connect. Don't worry. And when it comes to the World Economic Forum proof, I'm going to bring you what I found. You decide. You let me know in the comments if you think that's proof enough. For me, it's proof enough. It's proof enough for me. But you know me, I really don't like those people. And in the spirit of that, I bring you to the store. I am CoachColin.com, and I bring you, very fittingly, public enemy number one. Look up the World Economic Forum. Look up Agenda 2030. You'll understand quickly, and even watch this episode right till the end. You'll understand why this man is public enemy number one by the end of this. That's for damn sure. And we also have the Soul Not For Sale shirt, the one that started it all. And we have the certified pureblood shirt. For those of you that survived the pandemic unscathed, untainted, good job, strong-minded person you are, a straight-up pureblood you are. All of that's available on IamCoachColin.com, and if you want 10% off, all you got to do is put in the discount code IamCoachColin. That's it. It's all capital letters. It's all one word. There's one L in the name Colin. That gets you 10% off on us. No problem. If you've done that already with us, thank you so much. You're much appreciated. Let's get into this first clip here. Tucker Carlson spitting facts right now. Let's go.
The people run their own government. If you get a majority of people to vote for something, that's now the law. And that's totally untrue. You could put it in a ballot referendum, some judge will overturn it. Well, what about democracy? You can spend billions of dollars on a foreign policy theory that nobody actually supports. Doesn't matter. In the end, most governments are run by a small group of people for their own benefit without reference to what the majority wants. And I hate to believe that that's true in this country, but all the evidence suggests that it is. In fact, it's provable. You know how you prove it? Public opinion polling. Take a look at the latest Gallup poll. Pick a poll. What are the top 10 issues for people in the United States? And then compare those to the priorities of your leaders. So people are leaving Michigan because it's very hard to make a living here, and you're constantly hassled by a government that never stops growing and that is leeching off an economy that hasn't grown in decades, okay? That's the truth. Take a look at the priorities of the low IQ lunatic who's running your state, Gretchen Whitmer, who deserves zero respect, no respect. Her priorities are what? Putting you in jail if you, quote, misgender somebody? What percentage of the population of the state of Michigan, even southeastern Michigan, is on board with that as a top concern? It's like roughly around 1/10%, okay, in that range. The things that people care about, Gretchen Whitmer couldn't care less. The people.
Very, very true. Now, here's the thing with this. That's the first clip. And Tucker's very right about that. And it feels like he's a little confused on how that could be. Why would this is Gretchen, this is someone we're going to be looking into. Why would her priorities be in someone being misgendered, possibly climate change, electric vehicles, as I found out? Why would those be her priorities? If the priorities for the people of Michigan are, I need to pay less money to the government. I need to be able to buy eggs consistently. I need my kids to be able to eat more than one egg each. I need to be able to buy groceries and also pay my electric bill and not be sweating about one or the other. I need to be able to go to the grocery store and swipe my card and not have to sweat and wonder if it's going to be approved or not. I need things like that. I need necessities. Why are my necessities becoming luxuries? Why does it feel like that? They say that's what comes with socialism. You ever heard that? They say under capitalism, your luxuries become necessities, and under socialism, your necessities become luxuries. You ever get that feeling? Well, again, like Tucker said, look at the priorities of the people that are running your state. And outside the US, your province, if you're in Canada, if you're in Europe, look at what their priorities are versus what the priorities of the people are. Because, Tucker said to look at a poll. You don't need to look at a poll. I'm just going to say that, not to disagree with Tucker. It's good to go find a poll and see some consensus. But you can just go outside and talk to your people. You got neighbors, you got community. Talk to them. I think that would be a better course of action, because at least then there's a conversation happening in your community. What are everybody's priorities? You'll probably find out quickly that what your priorities are will more than likely be the priorities of the people around you. Because, we're looking for basic things as people. You want to be able to go to the grocery store without worry. You want to be able to spend money, not frivolously, but you want to be able to spend it and not go, oh no, what's going to happen with rent? Oh, what's going to happen with the mortgage? Am I going to be able to pay this thing off? You want to not have bill collectors. You want to not have to give so much money to the government. Let's be straight up. That's a big part of it. So I got a second clip here that I'm going to play for you, where Tucker goes more into that low IQ lunatic that he was talking about, and also Greg Abbott. Disappointing to say the least. But again, what he's going to be talking about, it sounds like he's a little confused on, and most people are. But when you make the proper connection, there's no need for confusion. Their actions make perfect sense when you make a proper connection to who they're really pledging allegiance to, we'll say. Let's get into that real quick. Here we go. Let's press this play button. Let's get it.
You can have a system that nobody actually supports except the people directly benefiting from it. This is the main thing I've learned in the past 5 years that I'm 54, I've lived in this country my whole life, and because I, unlike everyone else in Washington, actually kind of believed in the basic premise of democracy, which is the majority rules. That's the most basic fact of democracy. The people run their own government. If you get a majority of people to vote for something, that's now the law. And that's totally untrue. You can put it in a ballot referendum, some judge will overturn it. Well, what about democracy? You can spend billions of dollars on a foreign policy theory that nobody actually supports. Doesn't matter. In the end, most governments are run by a small group of people for their own benefit without reference to what the majority wants. And I hate to believe that that's true in this country, but all the evidence suggests that it is. In fact, it's provable. You know how you prove it? Public opinion polling. Take a look at the latest Gallup poll. Pick a poll. What are the top 10 issues for people in the United States? Living here, and you're constantly hassled by a government that never stops growing and that is leeching off an economy that hasn't grown in decades, okay? That's the truth. Priorities are what? Putting you in jail if you, quote, misgender somebody? What percentage of the population of the state of Michigan, even southeastern Michigan, is on board with that as a top range? The things that people care about, Gretchen Whitmer couldn't care less about. Because democracy isn't functioning. If democracy was functioning in America, in Michigan, in California, the District of Columbia where I live, the state of Maine, the state of Texas, how many Texans do you think are all on board with letting 7 million people cross into their state illegally? What percentage? Zero. Zero. I don't care what your race or national origin. Nobody is for that. That's insane. Has the governor of Texas done anything meaningful to stop that? No. The Republican governor? He's got a National Guard. He's the commander-in-chief of the National Guard, and it's Texas, so they're all large. And they have double-stack magazines in their sidearms. You think they couldn't stop that in a week if they... Of course. Just assemble along the border. We're not doing this. No, he refuses to do that. He won't do it. And it's not like no one suggested. I've suggested to him 3 times, including in private at a cocktail party in Dallas last year. What are you doing, man? Don't you have a National Guard? Why don't you seal the border? Oh, it's very complicated. No, it's not. No, it's not. If someone's trying to break into my house, it's not complicated to repel the person. Do you have a firearm or don't you? Are you willing to defend your house and your children, or aren't you? Well, it's more complicated. That really, tell me how. Speak slowly so I can understand. It's not more complicated than that. It's more dishonest than that. You're lying to me. You don't want to do it because your donors don't want you to do it. It's that simple. Greg Abbott. Liar. Liar. And worse than liar, betrayer of your own people. That's what that is. I was polite at the cocktail party, so I didn't say any of that, but I fumed internally like an Episcopalian. I thought those things. But the point is, if you assume that just because everybody wants something, you're going to get it, think again, pal. It's very likely that, in fact, you won't get anything that you want. You will just pay for what a small group of other people want. That's the way it works. Boo! Boo is right. Boo is right. It's not just frustrating, it's a betrayal of the core promise of the country, which is the people rule. That's a criminal act. That is a criminal act. Let's just put this in context. It's not just like you have boutique, weird right-wing views and that's how they want you to feel. Like, oh, you're an extremist. Really? I'm an extremist? I'm the one who let 7 million people into our country illegally, whose names we don't know?
Oh, now that doesn't make sense, right? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that as a governor? Why would you be so concerned with things that your people are not concerned about? And before I go on, I'm just going to switch over to what I found towards the World Economic Forum connections of Greg Abbott and Gretchen Whitmer. Just want to say real quick, sorry about the repeat. There's a little repeat in the clip there. My apologies, but I'm sure you got the gist of it. If you're still with us, let's go on to this next part here. This, if you don't know what this is, World Economic Forum. This is Greg Abbott. He has a page here. Now, for some people, this is not enough, you know? And it's odd because when I'm looking into Gretchen, and I'm looking into Greg here, I'm seeing the opposites. So Greg has a page, but I can't find him in any panels discussing anything. You know what? I should actually double check that. I should double check that to see if there is any panels that he's in, because he just might be. Greg Abbott. Greg Becker. No. Greg Abbott. Let's check that out quickly. But that is his page in the World Economic Forum. Go to videos real quick. This is how I do it, people. You know? I went to Israel, went to Switzerland. Blah, 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 blah. Usually you want to find him at a panel. That's usually my litmus test. So that's Greg. Greg has a page. There it is. But I can't find him in any panels, like I said. Opposite for Whitmer. I can't find a page on her that's on the World Economic Forum website, but there are article after article and video after video of her attending Davos, her speaking at Davos, her welcoming welcoming the World Economic Forum into Michigan. All of it looks very, very bad, in my opinion. But the good news is, all of that makes sense now. Now you understand why would you let so many people in? Why would you do that? It's complicated. That's what Tucker said, that Greg said to him. It's complicated. And, you know, in Tucker's mind, no, it's not. You got National Guard, you got people, you got the largest population, one of the largest populations of Navy SEALs, ex-Navy SEALs, retired and active in your state. You could probably turn to them and say, hey, can you help us out? We're not sure how to handle this whole thing. Could you help us? They would proudly serve their country right away. No problem. They'd at least give you a little guidance, little advice, right? It's complicated. It is complicated. When you're part of the World Economic Forum and you're expected to do what the people, what your people want, but you're also expected to do what the World Economic Forum needs you to do so Agenda 2030 can be accomplished, it's very complicated. You have to understand that, guys. So now back to her. This is her speaking. She speaks at the World Economic Forum. This is actually a video of her at the World Economic Forum. In this one, she's actually speaking about the return of manufacturing, which is a good thing. She's trying to get jobs over to the state, but at the same time, you know, again, that's why I want to let people decide. She's at the World Economic Forum. She's there, right? She's there. She's working hard to accomplish things alongside the World Economic Forum. For a lot of people, myself included, I would not want that. If you asked me if I wanted my governor to work towards being with the World Economic Forum, welcoming them into the state that I'm in, I would say no. Please don't. This is another one of her. She's speaking again at the World Economic Forum. This is her quote. "We are thrilled to welcome the World Economic Forum's United States Center for Advanced Manufacturing to Michigan, where our century-long auto manufacturing heritage, innovative businesses, and hardworking people continue to drive the future of mobility and electrification in the U.S. and around the world." So she's welcoming them in there. She's making sure that they are welcomed in Michigan. She's making sure that they have say in how manufacturing goes. And if you know anything about Agenda 2030, that's going to be electric vehicles across the board. Nobody's saying it yet, but those electric vehicles are going to be controlled. They will repo themselves. They will stop when you've left your district. I know it sounds weird, but you wait for it. This is another quote. This is off of a Michigan economic website. It's an organization, government type of website. This is when she was at Davos. She spent the final 2 days of her Europe investment mission at the World Economic Forum in Davos, where she participated in forums on sustainability, mobility, and the role of executive leadership. This is her quote here. "The World Economic Forum is a unique opportunity for Michigan to connect with leaders to discuss bringing jobs to Michigan and promote the state's efforts to elevate our mobility and sustainability initiatives. We're showing the world what we have to offer, demonstrating our leadership in cars, chips, and clean energy," back to electric cars, "and proving that the best manufacturing in the world happens right here in Michigan." So again, and this is just like another website of her just doing World Economic Forum things. So Tucker was a little confused. Why would these people be doing this type of behavior? Low IQ lunatic. Not low IQ. Not low IQ. Maybe not even a lunatic. But when you're doing things for the agenda of the World Economic Forum, the people will look at you and say, "This, what you're doing is not making any sense." To them, because they're doing what they're told, it makes perfect sense. They're going to Davos. They're meeting up with people. They're having the panels that are in public, and then they're going off and having private conversations, and then they come back to their states with a completely different itinerary than what the people thought was going to happen, or what the people were hoping was going to happen. You know, the regular things that we talked about at the beginning of this: lower taxes, less taken away from them, being able to buy groceries, being able to buy a home, being able to make sure that their children's future is intact, that their children's not going to be worse off than they are currently. Just some simple things. Just wanting to be able to thrive as a state, as a nation, as a world, you know? So, yeah. When when the World Economic Forum has their claws in people, they got their claws in people. I mean, Tucker Carlson, what did he say? Did he say 7 million people have been allowed through the state of Texas? That could easily be stopped. Easily. But, and this goes back to a video that I just did where Sam Tripoli was talking about his theory for what's next. And he was talking about immigration and who could be infiltrating possibly. Goes right back to that. Who knows? Who knows who's in that crowd of people, that ocean of people coming in? Who knows? Who knows? But again, when you're working for the World Economic Forum, you're going to do what you're told. You're going to do what you have to do. All right, guys. If you haven't liked the video already, like the video. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It helps so much. You have no idea. And 75,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Had no idea any of this would happen just 8 months ago when I was at 900. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You have no idea how much it means to me. And other than that, I am out.